Today, we're going to talk about webinars, specifically your webinar registration page. You know, that landing page that has all the details about what the event's about and then gives people a moment to register. That's what we'll dive into today. I'm very excited, so let's dive right in. My name is Carolyn Dalle-Molle. I am VP of Advisor Growth Marketing at FiComm Partners. And Dear FiComm, this video you're watching is a series of videos we do answering your growth marketing questions. It's kind of like a Dear Abby advice column, but just for you and just for marketing. So let's dive in. Today's question comes from Greg Hammond. Greg wrote in, he's a CFP and CPA in Connecticut. He writes in to tell us that he's been doing regular webinars using Zoom, and he's wondering, should I be happy with my current conversion rate? So he's seeing about 22% conversion rate on the landing page and kind of doing a check-in of like, is this going well? So Greg, it's good to hear from you. Thanks so much for your question. Right off the bat, when it comes to any sort of growth metric, what we are looking for is an upward trend over time. So you have been doing this webinar series for a good amount of time. Have you seen an upward trend? That is what will signal growth and kind of progress and improvements. If you've been stagnant at 22%, we might want to think about ways we can bump that number if it's kind of this low-hanging fruit moment you want to increase, okay? So we can make some changes. We'll talk about those now. But really, again, in growth, we are just looking for upward trends. We're looking for these numbers to be getting better, even if slowly over time. So that's first question for you. Have you seen that in your webinars thus far? Has it been getting better? When I think about your exact number and answer your question directly, 22% is kind of a healthy conversion rate for a webinar landing page. I wouldn't think this is a huge red flag. I also wouldn't say it's the most spectacular I've ever seen. So it's healthy, and we can talk about some improvements if you'd like. Right off the bat, on the improvement side, is the title. So when I look at this landing page you sent over, it's for a webinar that's about to happen. And the title is very clear, right? It's almost like literal. It's Inherited IRA, What Do You Do? But it's also a little bit vague, and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna gain from attending this webinar. So could you add a little bit of a benefit to the title? For instance, when we've hosted webinars in the past, maybe something on social media, it'll be, how to finally be consistent on social media to drive growth, right? Or how to increase conversion on your website with 5 changes, right? So we always mention the benefit to taking any sort of action. The other thing I would say is in the first few sentences, you really start to educate me, and I love that. And I love that in your graphic, it's a picture of you. It's a very beautifully done, professionally looking. Perhaps you've used Canva for this. It looks absolutely gorgeous. But when I start to read about the event, I see an opportunity to kind of emotionally connect with the person. So what you have here is good. Perhaps we add an intro that's more like meeting them where they're at. So a perfect viewer of this webinar, where are they at? Like, where are they at emotionally? What are they facing? And just say that directly. So for instance, it might be, if you've just inherited an IRA, you might be wondering the best strategies to benefit. Or if you're inheriting an IRA and you're wondering what to do, the next 45 minutes are going to guide you through the step-by-step. Just kind of meet them in their moment, in their reality, and then start the education content. Do keep up with the graphic. I think that's something that is really a high impact thing to be continuing on this page. Do keep up with the bullets. That is absolutely best practice, is kind of bullet out what's going to be involved in the event. And then you have really conversational language that I'm loving, right? So join us for this insightful presentation to learn what you need to know. The third thought I had here for you, Greg, is do you want to sign off at the bottom? See you there, comma, Greg Hammond, CFP, CPA. I only say that because I think it's kind of part of your tone. What I'm seeing from you is a little bit of a friendly, message that you want it to feel personal and like you're really holding their hand. Signing it at the bottom might be a nice addition. That kind of thing isn't maybe going to totally change the registration number, but it does add a little bit of spirit and tone to the registration page. Let me share one more thing before you go, Greg. So when I think about, the conversion rate's pretty healthy. We're looking for an upward trend over time. Perhaps we could add some beneficial language to the title and really captivate people at the start of the description. I also had another thought. So if I were you and I was saying, okay, I have a pretty healthy 22% conversion rate if people see this page, I would be wondering, could you quadruple the amount of people that see this page? Because what I'm inferring is perhaps you're sharing it with the same pools of people, and so you're kind of always getting the same amount of registrations, or you're maybe promoting it on the ad. You might be seeing a stagnation, and that might be triggering your question. But instead of actually changing too much about the landing page, because it's pretty healthy, could we promote this at a greater scale? So if you're currently getting 100 people to see it, what if 400 people saw it? Would you also be quadrupling the amount of people who register, aka quadrupling the amount of leads you get from this effort, and quadrupling the amount of people that attend? Just with changing the amount of people that see it, even if your conversion rates stay the same, you're going to be increasing the amount of people that are becoming a lead for the firm. So that's perhaps another direction to be thinking about, is promoting it at a greater scale, either putting it behind an ad or kind of sharing it on a social media platform you haven't ever shared it on before, or putting it out in your email blast, not just sending it out to people once, but maybe including it a couple times in the months leading up, giving it a bigger chance for more folks to see this page. It could be an interesting experiment to try. Greg, I hope these tips were helpful, and to any other viewer here today, I hope you were able to suss out some best practices and ideas for your webinar. If you have another marketing question, feel free to submit it at the link below this video. We are happy to support you in your growth projects and can't wait to see what you do next.